We commence with chanting from the 15th chapter, verse 1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhva Madashakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedave Adascha Urdhvam Prasitatasya Shakaha Guna Pravriddha Vishaya Pravala Adasya Mulan Anusantatani Karmanubandhini Manushya Loke Narupamasya Hatatopalabhyate Nanto Nachardir Nacha Sampratishta Ashvattamenam Suvirudamulam Asanga Shastrena Tridena Chitva Tatat Padam Tat Parimargitavyam Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuya Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yata Pravritti Prasita Purani Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama Dvandvair Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Sangne Gacchantya Mura Padama Vyayanta Natad Bhasayate Suryo Na Shashanko Na Pavakaha Yad Gatva Na Nivartante Tadhama Paramam Mama Mamaivangsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Manashashtanindriyani Prakriti-sthani karshati Shariram yadavapnoti Yacchapyutkramati-shvaraha Grihitvaitani sanyati Vayurgandhani vasaya Shrotram chakshusparshanam cha Rasanam granamevacha Adhishtaya manaschayam Vishayan upasevate Utkramantam sthitam bhapi Bunjanam vagunanvitam Vimura nanupashyanti Pashyanti jnana chakshusha Yatanto yoginastainam Pashyanyatmanyavasthitam Yatantopyakritatmano Nainam pasyantyachetasaha Yathaditya gatam tejo Jagat bhasayate kilam Yat chandramasi yat chagno tattejo viddhimamakam kama vishya cha bhutani dharayan mohamojasaha Ushnani chaushadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakam aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashritaha pranapam samayuktaha pachamannam chaturvidam sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivisto matta smritir jnanamapohanam cha vedaisya sarvair ahameva vedyo Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. The last time we had done up to verse 11. We'll do the 12th one. And before we can do that, we will just lay out the preceding verse, what it was speaking about. The diligent yogis, the yogis who are diligent, who are striving. See this one, Enam. What this is one? That Atman dwelling within them. And the non-discriminating ones, whose minds are not purified, do not see this one, though they be diligent. It tells us that yes, diligence alone is not a factor. The person is diligent, is very diligent. But that person has not yet understood where exactly and how exactly the Atman is dwelling within. And also, the person who also has not, his mind is not yet purified, because it's a kind of a cloud. So the idea is people who are diligent, whose minds have been purified, and who are discerning, they find that Atman there within. That's the reason why we have heard the Atman is there. But where is the Atman? Oh, well, it's there somewhere. And it has kind of, it's gone, hidden inside. And that's what the Upanishads also say. That Guda Atma na prakasha. This hidden Atman is not revealed to everybody. Drishyatetva graya buddhya. So it is seen through the one-pointed and a sharp intellect. So this Atman has hidden himself. That's why in the Vespers hymn, come to the heart's black cave and illumine thou light of the lights, we say. And so this is why we find Swamiji had kind of this like, it is there. But now, how do we say it is there? The Atman, which is there now found in the body, how is it in the body only? And the nature of the Atman is infinite. And how can that infinite be here within the body? This has been the biggest difficulty of people trying to understand the Atman inside. No, then they make a distinction. Oh, this is the Paramatman, the Supreme Soul, and this is the individual soul, etc., etc. So they made a distinction. In Vedanta, of course, they do not make a distinction. They do not say that there are the Supreme Soul and the individual soul. That will make it dual. They don't want any duality. They say that Supreme Soul is inside. Now, again, when you say, okay, fine, we are supreme, then problem comes is, how then in this small body is it there? The Supreme Soul. So you must understand this world that we see, that we inhabit, our minds, bodies. We are living in our minds and bodies. To bring a scientific term, it is actually a non-local universe and body, etc. There's a book called The Non-Local Universe. When the scientific theories are coming there, so all these people are saying, how is it possible? Like Einstein is giving all these, they're saying this is like metaphysics, this is not physics. What is this? And then there was, let's put it like that. Then there was a very famous, you can say, scientist, John Bell. He gave that Bell theorem, and he showed that Einstein is right, and this is a non-local universe. Whatever you do here has an effect other places also. You cannot say, this is me. That itself is wrong. The world is one. There is no such thing as this is local here, this is local here. So physically, it has been proved that this universe is non-local. If the universe is non-local, everything is also, you are also non-local. But I live here. I don't know. And we are saying, oh, I'm living here. This is me. How can this be non-local? How did this ever happen? This, they say, is what is called Maya. There's the short term for everything. So we have now this question of coming up. How can it be known? It can be known, as I said, you have to be discerning. Discerning means in the sense of, like Sri Ramakrishna should say, you must discern between what is real and the non-real, unreal. That is it. And after that, then you say, once you get this, then you must be able to, as the Bhagavad Gita says, that you must have the clarity of mind. What is that non-clarity of the mind? It is I and me and my. That has become, that's why the Bhagavad Gita, achetasa, that is, it's translated as, generally it's translated as many things, but here it is translated as, those minds are not purified. Chetas is, but it is translated variously. Somehow the mind has become contracted. And that is what is called achetas. You are mindful only about you, not about the non-locality. You are only a local. And then as you're striving, you will get into where exactly it is. So in many of the Upanishads and all, will say, there in the lotus of the heart, deep inside, there is a space And in that space, it's called a Hridaya Akash. In that space floats the entire universe. What is this? In this space here? Yes. In the very depths of your being, the heart is not the physical heart. If you go inside, there's a supreme space. And in that supreme space shines that Atman, that immortal. There it is. The space itself is that supreme being. So now, just in order for us to make this idea that this my existence is only here and not there, this is slowly have to be broken up. But now, I cannot see myself everywhere, but I can see the Lord everywhere, and which is the same as seeing me, because a supreme soul and the individual soul is part and parcel of the same thing. So here, the next 4 verses, 12, 13, 14, and 15, he speaks about the conditioned nature of Brahman. Brahman as conditioned by name and form. So this name and form is here. Okay. So the first one is here. And as we have seen, once you know it, you do not come back to it. Why don't you come back? Why? Because you have become everywhere. You don't need to come to one particular place. Like we have all congregated here to come to this place. All right. But when we realize the Atman, where is coming and where is going? Who's coming and who's going? So what happens is you become everywhere. So there's no point where you have to, I'm going there. So these verses are to show, as I said, the Brahman or the Supreme Lord as condition. Why? So that we can be able to comprehend. So the verse starts from joining the external and the internal world together. Okay. So the 12th one is, we will chant it. Yataditya gatam tejo jagad bhasayate kilam yat chandramasi yat chagnau tat tejo viddhimamakam. So there are the Teja. Teja has been repeated 2 times. 1 time, 2nd time. Teja. Okay. Yat. Aditya is the sun, Aditya. So that which in the Aditya, in the sun, that light, that luminosity which is there in the sun, he's saying, the light which is in the sun and which is in the moon and which is in fire and which illumines the whole world, know that light to be mine. So it's God's. Our everyday experiences. Oh, it's cloudy today. Oh, it's sunny today. Oh, look at this full moon today. Okay, yeah. Our everyday experiences, what we have. So the Lord is using these things that we are used to. Now we don't look at this. We look more at the phone and weather forecast and all what it is. But in the old days, just a few years ago, we were so fascinated with the stars. And so yesterday we were discussing in the monastery. Uh, I was telling them, this place looks so beautiful, but thousands of years ago, this place was covered with more than 1,000 feet of glacial ice. And then they were asking, then how did they survive? And this and that. We're saying, yeah, they had gone somewhere else. And then the young monastic were saying, then what do the people do whole day? I was trying to tell him that, hunting is also a skill. And every time you go for hunt, you don't get anything to eat. So you have to be persistent, and you have to study things. And then what do they do? Then what else? Well, they used to look up at the skies and saying, oh, the sun rises like at this time of the year, this time here. And they started recording it. Yeah, and then they found the seasons. And the sunrise and moonrise, and then the seasons are there, and different plants grow, and they kept on studying. They were not sitting there and doing nothing. They were busy. And then they used to look at the stars and the skies, and oh my God. So these people are fascinated. Nature is fascinating. That fascination actually is what is missing in our lives. Nature has not been able to pull our minds and it's like people who see these galaxies and all, it's a very spiritual feeling. Yeah. So he's using all these things that people are used to experiencing everyday life. So as he said, this Aditya, this light which is in the sun, this Tejo, that Jagat Bhasayate Akila, which illumines the whole world. Jagat is world. Bhasayate is, Bha is to shine. That's why Bhaskarananda is there. And the Bhaskara Abhya was Swami Bhaskarananda. Bha is to shine. That's why Bharata, that which shines. So Jagat Bhasayate, the whole world through which this light shines. The sun illumines everything. Okay, everything. In fact, the sun is called the source of all life. Imagine if there was no sun. Now we can a little in this Mariana Trench. There are these living creatures still down there, which do not need the sun, but any chemical, you can say, reactions are keeping them alive. There was one, the great Swami Ranganathananda. So he had given, I remember, a long time back, we were young, a lecture on the source of all life is the sun. It is because of the sun, and we are in the Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold, not too far, not too this, not away. So, and everything has depended on, life has depended on sun. Yes. So even the dust and even every life form, directly or indirectly, is sustained by sunlight. Okay. That's why most of the old cultures, you'll find everywhere the worship of the sun. Yes, sun worship, whether you call it Egyptian, Babylonian, everywhere there is sun worship. Ra, god of in Greek mythology, you'll have the sun, Helios. Even let's not go in mythology. They did a big thing about how the sun the sun god, he comes and rules over everybody. So people were, and suppose when a modern person reads the light which is in the sun, huh, sun, it's a fusion. The helium and hydrogen, whatever is fused, and that light comes out. What is this? But they are not these. They don't think like us. For them, the sun was a deity, God. What this is trying to tell us that everything has a deity. The sun has a god. The moon is the sun god is there. Moon god is there. Fire god is there. Everywhere there's a god. We never left anything away as material object. Put it everything. And this was the ancient idea of divinity. That we are living in divinity there. The sun is there. It's divine. Aditya. And then moon, Chandrama, fire, Agni. Oh my God. So when they say this, the light which is in the sun, etc., you must understand that it is a form of divinity. It's a divinity. And Tejas is that the light from that deity itself. So it's very difficult for us to understand that. I'll tell you, just to kind of give you an idea. There was one Swami Nirvanananda, who was Raja Maharaj's attendant sevak, who later became the vice president. And he served Raja Maharaj Swami Brahmananda so much that Raja Maharaj just said, his name was Suji. Suji means, in Bengali it's Suji, but it's Surya. Surjo. They used to call him Surji, Surya Maharaj. So he's called, the name of Surya. So he served him, and Raja said, you will get a knowledge of Brahman. And he was so said, Raja Maharaj said, bless me, I will get the knowledge of Brahman. So one time his disciples were there, and then later on he became the vice president, and he was asked by one of his disciples. He used to stay in Belur Math only. And he's saying, there was some construction, etc., going on. And then he said, hey, it is afternoon. Tell that construction to stop. What? Don't you know Shri Krishna is resting now? And then, so anyway, it was stopped. Then somebody said, they asked him, do you see Shri Krishna? He said, yes. Then we don't see him. Then he says, see, in this Belur Math, this physical Belur Math, you see, there is another Belur Math, a spiritual Belur Math within this. There, if you enter, you will see Shri Krishna. So there is a spiritual Belur Math. Now, when he says spiritual Belur, what is spiritual? It's the world of Bhava Jagat. It's a spiritual world in American, okay. There you will see Shri Krishna, Holy Mother, Swamiji, and all these things. So the Belur Math that you see, when people say, I've gone to see Belur Math, I thought, all right, very good. But which Belur Math did you see? Did you which? Oh, I went to Belur Math. Yeah, if you go to Belur Math, you will, but you don't see that spiritual one. But if you live there and slowly, you will be able to see that spiritual Belur Math. So the same thing is with this world. We are seeing it as material world. Yeah, it's a completely material world. But within this material world is a spiritual world. Now, when you can understand this, then this idea that the light that which is in the sun and which illumines the whole world, then you can understand this. Now, we always say, okay, the same thing like, no, there's the Ganges water, and we see the Ganges is like, it's all that Ganges water is there. And they say, oh, the Ganges is polluted and this and that. Yeah, it is polluted, that all these things. And then when you see that Sri Ramakrishna used to see what? He said that there's that Gangavari, Brahmavari. The water of the Ganges is the water of Brahman. So he used to see that as the water of Brahman. Now, the same thing we are seeing, but we are seeing a material something. We are seeing something which is like, again, local. We are seeing something which is finite. But if we have been practicing all this meditation, etc., etc., okay, and we have found out what is there, then you will find that not only this world is not local, not there, but it is all pervading. So this perception comes with the purification of the mind. Then you can understand that the light which is in the sun and which illumines the whole world, and then say, Yat Chandramasi, Yat Chagno, and which is in the moon and which is in fire, that Tat Tejo, that light, know it to be mind. Yes, it's amazing. When you see, with that light, whose light it is? God's light. And this is one of the reasons why when you say awakening and illumination, etc., what it means? It means that light. You have come to the light. Why is light? Is it real light? The light of knowledge. Because ignorance is contrasted with darkness and knowledge with light. So this world that we see is based on what? Oh, God is everywhere. It is? Yeah. And what is God? God is all knowledge. Because why knowledge? Because God is Chit, is consciousness. We say Sat and Chit and Ananda. So that Sat and Chit, you will understand that it's as light. Another definition of the same Satchidananda is Asti Bhati Priya. Bhati means to shine. What shines? Consciousness shines. That we are conscious, we are talking, we are listening, and this and that. We are conscious. It's like it shines. That is, knowledge is being kind of delivered back and forth. So consciousness shines. That's what. And it is asti, it exists. And that which is pure. So God, the shining, the light which is in the sun and the moon and fire, etc., and which is nothing but is shining. What is shining? As consciousness. Okay? So once you get this idea, he's not talking about a material light. He's using that material sun and moon and fire, etc., as symbols to point out to something more. It's like you look at that, oh, there's a fire out there. How do you know? Hey, see that smoke out there? That from that itself, you can understand there's a forest fire. Most of us have seen this. You see a plume of smoke, there's a fire out there. So these symbols have been given the everyday, what we are used to, fire, moon, sun, etc., and all light. That is the symbol. It's like the smoke, where you can presume that there is a fire. So there is a consciousness there. Okay. Now, what about these electric lights? And yeah, even electric lights are all part of that same. Indirectly, it's the sun only. Yeah, fossil fuels. People don't want fossil fuels and coal, this, that. That's another fascinating thing about, before we can, just another aside. The fire that is there on earth, all fire. You know where the fires come from? From old life. Yes, coal, oil, everything is that life which died, and now it is again burning. So fire as this element, Agni, on this earth is a old dead things. Amazing. When I first read it, I said, oh wow. But fire is everywhere. Yeah, the heat is everywhere, the chemical reactions everywhere. But in this, on this earth, fire, the dancing flames, it has come from old life, extinct life. Oil, coal, shale, whatever you call it. Oh, everything is old life. So here, see, and that again, this life is linked to the sun. So whatever is there, these symbols should let you comprehend, oh, that is the smoke you see, and then you infer there's a fire here. Similarly, when you read this, Yataditya gatam tejo jagat bhasayate khalam yat chandamasi yat chagna tat tejo vidhi mamakam, mine, he says. He is very sure. It's mine. There's no contradiction there. He is speaking with authority. It is mine. So everything that we see is a symbol. Really, is it a symbol? Yeah, it is a symbol because right now there's a kind of a material veil. Where's that veil? It is over our minds. And once you understand it's over your minds, then you can see, like I give the example of that king who wanted to, was told by that that doctor, eye doctor, see, you have to save your eyesight, you have to see everything green. The green is restful for the eyes. I don't know what science is that, but so the king said, let's paint everything green. So as they were painting, then the minister comes, say, wait, what's happening? Saying, this is the king's orders, painting everything green. So he's saying, wait, I'll talk to the king. And he comes to the king and saying, so what happened? I have to save my eyes. So I have to, if I see everything green, it will be restful for my eyes. Saying, oh yeah, no problem. He takes a green colored spectacles and gives it to him. Now you see. Everything green. So the moment we change our spectacles, we will see that the light which is there everywhere is the light of consciousness, not a material light at all. Yes. Now, what is light? Light is photon, we will say. Oh, what is photon? You don't try to explain it. It's one of the most difficult things to explain in science. Photon. It's massless. It is without mass. And yet it moves so fast. Why? Because it has to go according to the speed of light. Otherwise, it will be difficult. If you have mass, it will not go at the speed of light. It has to. So light itself is a very fascinating phenomena. Photons. Fire. If you look at fire, no, keep on staring at it. We have a fireplace here. You keep on staring at it. There's a kind of a hypnotic effect. Yes. Same way with water. We see water, running water, not in the sink. It has kind of a hypnotic effect. Even if you look at the mountains, nature, everywhere, sit down quietly, make your mind calm. It has a kind of not a hypnotic, it's a kind of a magical effect on it. It kind of holds you. It has that psychic or mystic, that's a better way, a mystic property. This it's very mystical. This world, this space, air, fire, water, and earth, it's very mystical. We don't catch it. We will only think, oh, it's only dull, dead matter. But if you can really look at just the elements, all the Pancha Mahabhuta, it is like spiritual. Everything. If you look at the trees also, that also is kind of very mystical. So in our daily life itself, we have not been able to catch that mystical element in nature. Forget the spiritual nature. And if we can, we'll be able to get. Yes. Because we are running about fast everywhere. Crazy. We are looking at our watches or looking at our phones and running. So that mystical nature of nature is lost on us. So they say, be quiet, and then if you cannot, then you'll read this and then you understand. So just ordinary nature, the material nature, has a kind of a magical quality to it. Yes. And then, as I said, within that nature is that spiritual, you can say, realm. Like that Belur Mutt within Belur Mutt. That is what is actually this sloka is trying to tell us. I mean, not that way, the way I told it, but because they had a feeling, they thought that this thing is known to everybody. So they hurriedly went and told us. So this verse, so I'll read the English translation. The light which is in the sun, which is in the moon, and which is in fire, and which illumines the whole world, know that light to be mine. Yataditya gatam teja jagad bhasayate kila. Yat chandramasya tyaga tat teja viddhiva. The tejas, the light of God is everywhere. It is shining. Oh, is it only in this? As I said in the very beginning, it's a non-local universe. If you think that sun is there, why do you want to put it? It's all non-local. You are also a non-local. So they have taken certain things and they've removed the idea of locality and made it all pervasive. So in the sixth verse in this chapter, so if you can check the sixth verse, he says, "Na tatra suryo na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhava param." Neither the sun nor the moon nor the fire illumines that supreme light is my state, reaching which they do not return. So it is not that, that fire and this and that and all. These are just catching the reflections of that supreme state. These sun and moon and fire, etc., is shining because that is shining. Then otherwise I would say, oh, God is only so much. God is much more. Only thing we are speaking now, these next four verses, the other three, will be speaking about the conditioned Brahman, the condition that is the Supreme Being. It also explains another verse which is in the Kathopanishad, and that is Na tatra suryo bhati na tarakam nema vidyat bhati kutoyam agni tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam. So this verse in the Bhagavad Gita is an echo of that which is found in the Upanishads. And in the Upanishadic verses, there the sun does not shine, nor the moon and the stars, nor do these flashes of lightning shine. How can this fire? He's shining all the shine. So, tasya bhasa sarvamitam vibhat. Because of the consciousness of God, everything has become consciousness. Okay. Through his luster, all these things are variously. So, it's a throwback on this. It's an explanation of this sixth verse and also of the verse in the Upanishads. So the Upanishad is the Kathopanishad. Teja. I said the Teja, the word is repeated 2 times. The first line and the second line. The Teja, the light. What is light? As I said, what is light also is now, it's not yet found out. Nobody can really tell for certain anything about this physical or material universe. You know why? Nobody can say with certainty, I have found out all there is to be known about this particular object. Because of Maya again. Short and sweet. Nobody will be able to say, confident, I know everything about this. In this realm of Maya, Holy Mother says, only God is omniscient. Yeah. So in one place, the one disciple asks Holy Mother, are you the mother of all and all that? Yes, all mother. And then the next question was, look at all these stars and all these things. Do they have life there? Are there life? So the mother first said, no, who knows? It is only possible for God to be omniscient. And then he said, maybe there is no life. But she said, maybe there is no life there. So what I'm trying to say, only God can be omniscient. And that the light of God, which is consciousness, the light is interpreted for our sake as light, but it's consciousness. Everything that is alive is conscious. So it's consciousness. So what is in the sun, yat chandramasi, what is in the moon, and what is in the fire, whatever shines in that is because of this God. So though this light of consciousness is not only in the moving, it's also in the unmoving. Otherwise, you'll have to make a device. Oh, this is God is only in so much. We had the idea God dwells in human beings. But what about the other animals and all? Oh, no. We don't know. But now all that thing has been taken off. The idea that God pervades everything, moving and non-moving, sentient and insentient. Still, the excellence of these, the sun and the moon and the fire. Why is this? Because amongst all the objects in the world, these are the most shining ones. And if you look at that, oh yeah, look at the tree and the earth and you'll say, yeah, that's good. But compared to that, this is more shining. And it's called, that's why they say, oh, it's more sattvic. Light is more sattvic than water or even the earth or something like that. So that's why they say that he has taken some representative symbols that includes everything. Only thing, like as I said, it is well known. These representations are well known everywhere. That's why. Otherwise, God will say, I'm only in the sun and the moon and the fire, and that's all. No. What about us? We are left over. What about us? Why are we putting ourselves in the center? We have to put God in the center of everything. That sun, as I said, is the source of all life. So that sun is in a way you. We are condensed sun. We are condensed sunlight. When I first came to LA and then I was in Hollywood and then, so it's begun to rain. Here it's like a everyday affair. There's no problem. In California, that one old Swami was saying, hey, Swami, come, look, liquid sunshine. So the first time I heard liquid sunshine, and I really liked that thing. I said, we are all sunshine. Whether liquid or solid form, we are all sunshine. So that's why it's saying it's not only one symbol, that symbol represents the entirety of this universe. Why? Because in another Upanishad it says, Suryo sarva lokasya chakshu na chakshuse bhaya doshe. Like the sun is the eye of the whole world. But it is not stained by the defects in our eyes. It shines on the good and the bad. Like the wind is one, but it touches everybody. So the sun is like sarva lokasya chakshu. It is like it is the eye of the whole world. And this eye has been, there's another universal symbol, the eye. You've heard of the eye of Horus? The Egyptian god of Horus. He is symbolized as what? I. Yeah. You go to Jagannath, what you will see?
Big eyes.
Big eyes, unblinking. And when something is going wrong, some corruption or something like that, especially in Orissa, they in the newspaper they will say, "Chokku shop dekuche." Oh, that eye is seeing everything. Be careful. And we have something called a antaryami. So we have the antaryami. So again, it's the same thing. And Sri Ramakrishna used to say, the depiction of God's eyes are different from human eyes. The God's eyes are they are very wide. They reach up till here. That's why when you paint God's eyes, you'll see they're very long. That's why it's called Meenakshi also. And Sri Ramakrishna, he was a good, he was a painter also. He could paint also. So he used to say that the eyes of God have to be painted in such a way that it shows compassion, it shows fearlessness, it shows divinity, etc. So God's eyes are different from our eyes. So the eye is everywhere. So like the sun is the eye of the whole world. So similarly, God is the knower of everything and everybody. So only thing now we can understand what this sloka is trying to say. Otherwise, what is this sun and moon and fire? What has that got to do with me? Yeah, because without that you will not be able to live. Yeah. So he gives another example. The commentator. Some of these things are taken as representative of everything else. So the commentator says, suppose you see Shankaracharya. Suppose you're looking at yourself, trying to look at yourself in wood. You will not be able to see the reflection. Or in some other medium, like a wall or something like that. You cannot. In stone, you cannot. But when you put a mirror, you can see yourself. So that's why amongst all the objects, the sun and the moon and fire are like that mirror. So you can see things. So you are there where you are. Just change the reflecting mediums and you will understand the difference between the objects. What reflects more, what reflects less. Okay. Let's take the next one. Gama Vishya cha bhutani dharayam mahamojasa Ushnami chaushadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Gam, the earth, avishya, I enter, cha bhutani, and all beings. Dharayami, I hold, ojasa, with my power. Pushnani chaushadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmaka. Now, we'll get that. And entering the earth through my power, I sustain the things on it. And I nourish all the plants by becoming soma, the essence of all juices, all saps. I will slowly take it up. Because this, otherwise, you look at it from the material standpoint. What is this? What is that? It doesn't make sense only. It makes sense. If it is the Gita, it makes sense. If it does not make sense, it will not be found outside. But that's what Vyasa says, no, that there is a saying that if it is there in the Mahabharata, then it is found outside. If it is not found outside, it will not be found in the Mahabharata. So Avishya Gam is saying, what is earth? Gam, go, earth. The earth. The earth is called Gam. Okay, come. Avishya is to enter. He entered the earth. There is so many things are there inside, but we'll wait for the explanation. What earth? As I said, the sun is a god, the moon is a god, fire is a god. So it is not just, it has been a very ancient way of thinking for all of us, that we used to see all these things as alive and as divinities. So sun god, moon god, etc., etc., etc. So the earth also is the deity, is a goddess. Generally, we call it Prithvi. So he entered. Rama Vishya cha Bhutani. And then they said, Hana, Dharayami, I hold everything together. In one of the Upanishads called the Brihadaranyaka, there's a very long discussion. Gargi was asking too many questions. And then he was answering one after another. So what holds the sun? What holds the earth? Water. What holds the water? Fire. What holds the fire? Air. What holds the... So each element is held by another. And then she goes, what holds the space? Then he's saying, Gargi, don't ask too many questions. Your head will fall off. Yeah. And she kept quiet. Once another fellow, Shakalya, he was asking too many questions. And Yajnavalkya said, don't ask too many questions, the head will fall off. I think I should start telling people. So the question was, Kim otascha protascha iti. What is like ota and prota, the warp and the woof. When you weave cloth, there's a ota and prota. That is, it is, as you call it, saturates the threads, the longitude and latitude. This is called ota and prota. This. So what is ota and prota in this universe everywhere? And they give higher idea till he comes to that akshara. And then he says, etad aksharasya prasasane. Throughout this, you can say, the rule of this akshara, the sun and the moon and everything are held into place. Everything is held into place. Nobody can transcend the rule of this akshara Purush. So Gargi kept quiet. She better keep quiet. So it is that the akshara, the imperishable, is ota aprota. That is in everything, everywhere. So people are saying, oh, let us go to the Himalayas and let us meditate in that cave to realize God. You better do it here only, inside your body only. Why? That akshara is here inside only. It is holding you, it is holding your mind, you're holding your senses, it is holding everything within you. And where are you going to search for it? So that was a very long dialogue. So it's amazing. So it is held by that. Everything is by that akshar. So God, how does he enter? Well, why not? Because he holds everything together. In a way, just say, oh, I've entered into it, everything. Okay. Through what? Ojasa, through my power. Ojas. What's the difference? Swamiji says the more ojas is there in the brain, the greater that person is. It's a very subtle power, ojas. It is done through spiritual practices. You can get a little of this ojas. It is not just ordinary Shakti. And where does the ojas remain? In human beings, it resides in the brain. So if you can think higher thoughts, you are developing ojas. And people want spirituality. Let's have spirituality. Let us do this, let us do that. Better way to develop this ojas in your brain. Only then can you get into the spiritual business. Otherwise, it's all material business. Yes. Then you will become a guru and then you will give big upadesha. And like the Upanishads say, like a blind man leading another blind man, both will fall in a ditch. Ande naiva niyamana yata anda. Vedanta, that's why Vedanta is so clear. Don't run about all these teachers and these gurus and all this kind of misleading. They never told you about developing ojas. Only when the ojas is developed, can you enter into that spiritual world. That spiritual world is what I told you. Like there is another hidden Belur Math within Belur Math. To get into this Bhava Jagata, this world of spiritual life or the spiritual world, you have to have ojas. Without ojas, you cannot get. Not with this. We are going to eat something and then we are going to have. And then, oh, I'm feeling so bloated. Oh, I'm feeling so nice. I'm feeling energetic. I'm feeling this, that. This energy will not lead you to spiritual life. It will take you to go and sleep now. But is it a different energy then? No, it's not a different energy. That same energy which you get from food, water, and air, because you're taking it from inside. You convert it. And you can convert it, and the most refined part becomes ojas. It's like first you have a cow, and then from the cow you have milk, and from the milk you have curd, yogurt, and then you have butter, and then more refined ghee. Oh, that's a final. It's the same thing. No, it's the source is one, but it is different. So that's why it's called clarified butter. Not only butter, clarified butter. So ojas is something like this. It's the clarified energy which is taken from everywhere, from the food and water and air, from nature, and it is made into ojas. So God enters everything through this power, ojas. Dharayami, I hold. That's why this word dharma, the word comes from to hold. Dharyate iti dharma. What you do? Oh, this is my dharma. I do this. Whatever you do holds you, saves you, protects you. That's why they used to call it swadharma. You do your dharma. What is my dharma? You don't know. You do your duties. So whatever you do holds you. Suppose your person does not do any work. You know what will happen? That person's brain will become like a potato, sweet potato. Soft. Yeah. And that person always, oh, I'm stressed. Oh, I've got tension. Oh, I've got hypertension. Oh, I've got this. I got that. I got trauma. Oh my God. I know that this brain has become like mushy. Yeah. When you are doing your duty, when you're working, acting, Holy Mother says, Kaj hi Lokki. Work is Lakshmi. Kajer moddhe shorir mon bhalo thake. Very clear. In work, when you work, your body and mind are healthy. The problem has been solved by Holy Mother. And now I was just reading the cover of that book, The Anxious Generation. Yes. And the same author has written that the coddling of the American mind or something like Jonathan Haidt. He is a very great scholar. Yeah. Yeah. So work, swadharma, when you keep on doing it, it holds you. And if it holds me, then God is the work. He is doing work. Simply holding. What am I doing? I'm holding it. And he's working. God is working. So dharayami means an active state of dharayami with the power ojasa. Pushnani. Pushnani is to nourish. This is another thing. Pushnani chaushadi sarva oshadi. Like oshadi. Oshad, when you say oshad khaben. Medicine will take medicine. Oshadam is medicine. It also means herbs, plants, etc. So that was supposed to be medicine. Nowadays, we are taking medicine in a pill. And 20 types of multivitamins, 50 types of supplements. But you eat this herbs, plants, all these things, they are also there. They are medicine. The Pushnani Chaushadim Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. Oh my God, yeah. So Aushadhi is all the plants, paddy, barley, etc., which grow on the earth. It makes them juicy and tasteful. Rasatmaka is tasty. Rasa. So everything, that's why they say when you sattvic food should be rasatmaka. That is, should be not dry. Nowadays we'll have the dry food. And then you become dry. If you eat dry food, you will become dry. If you nice. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in the chapter, the later chapter will come, that food that is like oleaginous, oily, not oily in the sense dripping with oil, not that. It has a natural oil in it. That is sattvic. And so it's rasatmaka. So God has, as it were, entered inside, holding, working, and is giving rise to all these things. Now, there's one point I like to recommend. So Somo Bhutva. Soma is one of the meaning of the word Soma is, in the old days, we had the Soma Yaga, the Soma sacrifice. Oh, it was a very elaborate sacrifice. And Soma somehow disappeared, the Soma creeper somehow disappeared from India. And finally they got it somewhere in Afghanistan and they bought it and all, and they bought it. So I don't know how we could have such a desire. Anyway, Soma. Another meaning of Soma is the moon. Someshwara. Som, the Lord of Soma. Okay. Soma. Soma, becoming Soma, I nourish everything. Now, this nourishing business, for many years, I was confused. There's something here. Does the moon really nourish? They say, I nourish all the everything, plants, etc., by becoming Soma. What is? You won't believe it. Now, they are saying that because of the moon, the sap in the plants flow. Yes. So plants grow not only through photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens in the day. The first sloka has done that. Photosynthesis, sun, etc. The moon, the sap, and it is now found that during the full moons, the sap flows much better. Farmers, the ancient farmers, they knew these things. They would have sowing season accordingly, according to the phase of the moon. Now, it might sound, what nonsense? The moonbeams come. What moonbeams and all? I don't know what happens. But the moon is also responsible for the flowing of the sap in plants. And you won't believe it. Just to be sure, I checked this up this morning on the internet because I knew it, I had heard it, I read it scientifically. There are a lot of studies today that show that the moon, Soma, nourishes the plants by becoming the sap, the rasatmaka. So the juice that is there, the juicy things in food, in plants and all, is nothing but the power of God. Now if you say, oh, the power of God, oh, God is good. God and his power are not two different things. That's why he said, Gama Vishya cha Bhutani. He enters into everything and he makes things grow so that we are sustained. All beings are sustained. Now this is getting much more better. That God which you are searching for now is much more closer in our food, in our clothes, in everything we see, hear, talk, this, that. It's in our life, it's in our mind, everywhere. Mind will come the next one. So it has become the closest of the close. As I said, these four verses, the following four verses, are only speaking about the conditioned Brahman. Brahman has conditioned the Bible. So the first one we got at Yataditya Gatam. This one is Gama Vishya Bhutani. Yes, so I was deliberating that I should talk about the moon being responsible in a way for the growth of herbs and plants and all. Yes, there is no doubt about it. Oh, photosynthesis takes place in the day and they have to rest in they also have a circadian rhythm. Do you know that? And sometimes the plants grow towards moonlight also. So he makes food tasty. God makes a food tasty. Oh yeah. And then, okay, he has understood this. God is now saying something more. That food that I have made for you all, I am the one who digests that. Now he's here showing in the body. See, that's what Vedanta said. Take it from outside, slowly bring you back. So what do we know? Oh, I had so much of food and I'm feeling so. So we'll read that and I'll tell you one small incident was there. We'll read the 14th verse. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachyamannam Chaturvidham. There, taking the form of the Vaishwanar of fire. I am the Vaishwanar of fire. Dehinam, in the embodied, residing in all bodies of creatures. I, in association with prana and apana, digest the 4 types of food. Wow. So he not only creates the food, he digests it also. There was one in long time back. It was, I think, very old, one old Swami had told me. If you know, so Hari Maharaj or somebody, I think like that. So there was in Uttarkashi, that is Kashi is here. There's another Uttara. Uttara is north. It's a very sacred place where monks used to stay. So I've gone and stayed there for many months. Beautiful place to meditate. So in those places, there are alms houses, chhatra they call it. So the monks meditate the whole day, and in the morning they come to beg their food. And you have to stand in a queue sometimes, most of the time. I have to stand in a queue. And you say Narayana Hari, and then they. So for me, one will not do. I should go to another one also. Because you are from the Ramakrishna mission, you see. But so every day, and what? Food? The chapati is like, it's so hard. I think they must have made it like, maybe last month, I think. And the dal is just like water. So, and if you are lucky, some kind of pickle they used to give. That was all. Get out. So another alms house, they used to give a little vegetable. We used to go there. What we used to do, you should take the chapati and put it in the dal. You will soak it and you also become thick. And you take a spoon and. So now and then, some rich person will come and feed the sadhus. Because they are going either to Kedar or Badri and all this. And on the way, they want to do some merit and they will. So there was some like a Bhandara. Bhandara means a feast. So sadhu Bhandaras, sadhu feast. So everybody is there. So everybody is happy, and the one old Swami also had come. Big fellow. So they are making fun of him. You cannot come. Why? Because your stomach is already bad. You are suffering from indigestion. And we are going for Bhandara. So you will not be able to come. So that old Swami said, no, I will go. No, you don't have to come. You'll get more sick. No, I will come. But you'll fall sick. I will chant the mantra and then I will go and eat. So what he chanted was not a mantra. He chanted this sloka. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashrita Pranapana Samayukta Pachamannam Chaturvidam. And he's rubbing his belly and he goes up Bhandara, eats, and everything's fine. Because he said, I am not going to eat. God is the one who's going to digest everything. God is the food. God is the eater. That's why in the Upanishads, one of this, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, one of the highest experiences when the Rishi is saying, Om Ahamannam 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 Ahamannado Ahamannad. I am food, I am food, I am food. I am the eater of the food, I am the eater of the food. What is this? I am food. Is that a realization? Yes, it's a realization. So here, what do you realize? God is the food, God is the eater of the food. But what about me? Who are you? So Sri Ramakrishna was asked, now Sri Ramakrishna is telling, everything happens to God's will. Yeah, one devotee is saying, yeah, it's all God's will. His will, but it is dead to us. Amateur moron. It is not dead to us. Sri Ramakrishna, but who are you? Who are you? And that, he could not answer anymore. But who are you? Everything has become God only. Everything is God. But who are you? That's why I say, who are you? So God is the food, God is the eater. He's the producer of food, and he is the digester of food. So that's why I say, taking the form of Vaishvanara, and this fire is there in everyone. What fire? The digestive fire. Again, like I said, it's not just a digestive fire. It's a fire of prana. There's a fire in, like there's a fire in this chair. What is this? No, there's no fire. You'll have to take it to, you'll have to call an emergency. No, the fire is hidden inside this. It's wood. Fire is hidden. So fire is hidden in everything. So the Vaishnava or Vaishvanara fire is there in everybody. And it digests everything. And if you put the wrong things, then you'll get diseases. It will digest that also and give you disease also. But that's a different thing. You put it there, the fire is there everywhere. In the old days, in the Vedic yajnas, what they used to do is they should take these two pieces of wood, arani, and they used to rub it against. Rubbing is like rolling, whirling it around and round so that the wood rubs. That was a very old way of producing fire. Even in the, in today also, in the very deep jungles in Africa and all, they put one stick and they put some wood shavings and and fire sparks. Where's the fire coming from? Friction. Yeah. Is fire there everywhere. So in us also there's a Vaishvanara of fire. That is what actually digests. And it is, we are talking about that ojas, that fire which digests the food becomes that ojas. So Vaishvanara, becoming Vaishvanara, the God has become the Vaishvanara fire, which is there within all of us. The fire in the stomach. It's not only, it's all there in all the other Upanishads also, Vaishvanara. So remember the Vaishvanara. And it enters into all beings. Ashrita Dehinam. It enters into all beings. So in the Upanishad also, Agnir Yatam Yataiko Bhuvana Pravishta Rupam Pratirupa Bhavusha Ekastata Sarva Bhutantaratma Na Lipyate Chakshushetaya. So it's a fire, though one, when it enters into the earth, becomes divided into many forms. So God is one and enters and becomes many forms. Yes. Sometimes we sing in that devotional song, and Ramnam also. That song, "Listen, My Friend." So that's a beautiful song. I will tell thee, if there is but one ferry. There is all love, all love. So these are his manifold forms. Where will you go? So Swamiji, he writes, "So premamoy." So he says that everything are the forms of God. Where are you going? So that's God, one God is entered into it. So we can, so just we finish this. In association, prana is that which goes up. Seat is here. Apana, which goes from here downwards. The seat is in the belly. Okay. That's why nowadays, I don't know, nowadays we don't. Before bathing, we should put oil in the belly, in the navel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all do it. Now modern people don't do it. Modern people, the dirty place that all the bacteria there. No, you have to put. They used to put oil. Ayurveda and all, nowadays, they say that was the original mouth through which your mother fed you. That was the first mouth. So prana and apana, and also includes other vyana, udana, samana, etc. The other prana. So through prana, it digests all the 4 types of food. What are the 4 types of food? Pachami annam chaturvidam, the 4 types of food. So, okay, now he's got, the commentator has got, so one is like cake, etc., that which is by you cutting the teeth, by which is cutting into pieces to the teeth. Cake, etc. They also had cake. Yeah. Only we think we have cakes. And we have cakes and we have made muffins and this and that all crazy. But cake was cake. They knew cakes. So it's called bhaksha. And then also charvya, that which is swallowed, smoothies.
Oh.
Yeah, smoothies. And then something which is like liquefied, like like orange juice and all, and the spices and all. Leya, it is called. And the other things like sugarcane and all, we have to crush and they have to throw part of the husk and eat the rest of the thing. That also it's called chosya. Yeah. So 4 types of, like biting, chewing, sucking, and you can say what? Sucking, all that thing. Okay, whatever. So this is what God is now. Om Tat Sat. Now we put some questions. Be careful. I like Yajna.
That is only if he has 2 in questions. Swamiji, you said what? Vaishnava food, you said?
Vaishvanara.
Vaishvanara. What is that? What does
The
that
fire.
mean?
The fire. Udaragni. Okay.
And the other one you said about ojas. So ojas, so a person needs to practice continence both physically and mentally.
Any control and a spiritual thought. Any spiritual thoughts that you develop, it develops ojas in you. That's very essential. Okay. No question. See, there's.
And you said that by means of the ojas, that is how God enters into you.
The power of God is called ojas.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the spiritual power of the individual is also ojas.
Yes, ojas, yes. The spiritual power is ojas.
So, Maharaj, is it like when you have materialistic thoughts, then are you losing ojas? Is that the negative connotation of that? So it's
The ojas is not developed at all. Does not get a chance to develop. So the moment you start thinking that the world is a spiritual world, then you start developing that ojas automatically.
That's where the green colored glasses come in.
Exactly. So
To
it's a
see-
green color.
See the same thing differently.
Yes.
Maharaj, can you consciously do it, or it has to happen to you that you start seeing things with a green glass? Or will it, if you consciously think like that, or will it automatically happen?
In this world, nothing happens automatically. The question is, you put on the green glasses, everything will fine. It doesn't happen automatically. It comes by the grace of the Guru, or your own past karma, or your present spiritual striving.
Isn't it everything happens automatically?
Automatically, nothing happens. Suppose it's raining now. Oh, automatically it's rained. No. So many things happened before that. So in this universe, everything is as karya, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. So we see this and we don't see that. So we see, oh, we are nice here. But how many times I had to take a rebirth to come up clear? That I don't see. Yeah. All of us, of course. So nothing happens. If it happens, it's to be counted as grace of God. Grace of God comes. And Sri Ramakrishna called it Hatat Siddha. So he says there is a Sadhan Siddha, one who becomes perfect through sadhana, through spiritual practices. The other is Swapna Siddha, one who becomes perfect or gets enlightenment through Swapna, through Then Hatat Siddha also. Hatat Siddha is image, you get it.
So what's the cause for that? What's the cause for that happening suddenly?
There is no cause. Hatat is God's grace. It comes, and Sri Ramakrishna gives the example, like there was one poor one person was there. He was walking in the old garden path, and his toe stubbed against an old pipe, buried pipe. Nobody knew it, and the water started coming out. Hatat. Then there's something called a Kripa Siddha also, through the grace of God. So one poor boy, he doesn't know who you are, the orphan, and then he suddenly hears that some old uncle of his died and left all the property to him. So Kripa and this, and it does not have any Karya Karan. But you have to be, Ramakrishna says, you have to unfurl the sails so to catch the breeze of God. God's grace, God's breeze is always blowing, but you must be able to unfurl the sails. And then it becomes. So that's what. Otherwise, God is partial. No, He is impartial. So it is given to everybody, so that little self-effort is required to put it out there.
Swamiji, I heard this in some reading that there is a difference between punya and kripa. This person is explaining punya as, like, when you have punya, then there are a lot of external good things happening to you, like good job, whatever. Materially, you are settled. Kripa, you may be materially settled or unsettled, But kripa is when you feel something change inside your heart for the better. When your heart goes to God. Is that correct way of saying it?
Punya can be used in two ways. One, to become spiritual, because your material things are, when you have punya, that means in this birth you have got some money now. Then you can become charitable, you can do this, you can that. So you're using that punya to help others, to help you, even for spiritual benefit. The other idea of punya is you can become even more punyavan. So in this ethical moral life, sometimes what happens is when you become punyavan, too much punyavan, and you get money and this and that, Maya will trap you and pull you down. It will make you like a damn fool. Too much money. The other is, like you said, kripa. Kripa is, you may be poor. You may be the poorest person in the world, but you will be the happiest person in the world. And as I said, kripa changes, things change within you. That's true. That's in a way. Punya also change, everything changes. But those who have been very charitable, they become, in this birth, they say that becomes punya. They have a lot of merit. But in Vedanta, they say that wherever there's punya, there's papa also. So, but of course, you've got to strive to be good punyavan. So what punya does? Suppose there are 50 people in Bellevue. Oh, okay.
In this way.
All right. What can you do about it? Really, they can change the atmosphere, the spiritual atmosphere of this place. And you will find that no accidents, no suicides, no domestic violence, all these things do not take place. Really punyavan, these souls, if they are there. All the troubles that they, as it were, they protect this whole place through their punya, merit. So they can do good to the world like this. Yes. So we need this kind of people. And then in the old days, and the best way is, why charity and this and that, and why you want to do this? To speak the truth. It's punya. That truth will protect this whole place. There's no doubt about it. So in the old days, they used to get some truthful people as witnesses and this and that. In the case of Sri Ramakrishna's father, so you see, Sri Ramakrishna himself says, they do not get all these big imposing people with long mustaches and big bellies to be a witness. They send a palanquin to a far off village and they get a poor person who's truthful. He will speak. Sri Ramakrishna's father, he could have said, oh, yeah, all right. He could have said a lie. He would have been saved. No way. And what happened? He had to leave his ancestral house. He did not care. I have my wife and children, and what's going to do? You're not bothered. Why should I? These are the people like Vijnanananda, when his mother was saying, you told lies. And then he's saying, I never told lies. I'm saying, no, he said. Then he takes a Yagna Pavitra, and he tells it. If I tell a lie, I'm not a Brahmin, and throws it on. And his mother gets shocked. What have you done? Something bad is going to happen. And that same day, I think, or next day, they get a telegram. His father was in Quetta, which is now in Afghanistan. He was working in there. His father has died. And his mother said, see, your curse. So these are the people, when they say something, it will come to true. So they used to, in the old days, they used to get these kind of people in the villages and keep them. Saying that was the best form of insurance. Nowadays, you have to go to insurance companies. They will take everything away. Fire insurance, this insurance, that insurance, earthquake insurance, medical insurance, Khan. So those days, they never had an insurance company. They used to get one truthful person there. That person would protect everybody. So that's a better way of being a punyavan.
Suddenly, doesn't the Vedanta say there is nothing but path and nothing but punya?
Yeah, on the final stages, on the first stages is there. Then it is said, na virato duscharitat, na shanto na samahita. This thing, this knowledge of the Atman will not dawn to a person who is sinful, whose mind is restless, and who has not desisted from wrongdoing. It won't come. So the first thing you got to do is better do this. Then you can. So people think that they're taking that Siddhanta Vakya, the final words of Vedanta, but they don't see the entire structure of Vedanta. Yeah. In fact, Vedanta goes to the very highest morality. Can you give your life even for an animal? Then you're ready for Vedanta. People nowadays look at some YouTube and then they will say, I'm a Vedantin. I learned Vedanta. Oh, no, it's not so easy. So Vedanta gives tremendous responsibility to each and everybody. So that's why na aviruto duscharita. Duscharita means bad conduct. These people will not. And the final says both papa punya or both are maya. At that stage, you have crossed over maya. But till you come to that stage, you have to. Sri Ramakrishna says, no, however much you might try, if you are living in a house, room full of soup, you will get a little. So you have to be careful living in this world.
When you say the conduct, right, like the doing the right thing, so rules between, like, for example, like I think Swamiji in Karma Yoga said, like, one man's morality is not another man's morality. So like when you live in different places, right, the rules are different. So what is actually the right?
Yeah, this is we are talking just about rules and this and that. What one man's morality is different from another man's morality. Like a soldier can go and kill people on the battlefield. That same soldier at home, he cannot do any killing here. So there is a hero, here he is a murderer, manslaughter. So the same thing which you do it now, you cannot do in front of somebody in another time and another place. The rules change. So what is morality?
Yeah, I think
I
was saying, like,
I'm getting to it. Yeah.
what is like the compass by which you guide yourself? It's kind of what I'm asking.
What guides you? Actually, you know yourself. Whenever you do something wrong, your heart. And when you are doing something,
So let's say you do something and somebody else says, oh, you did the wrong thing. But if you don't feel that it's, like you said, like if if that person even says it's a wrong thing, if your heart doesn't tell you, if your heart tells you did the right thing, then it is the right thing. Right?
It's not, which is not a subjective feeling. Because otherwise nowadays everybody, there's a big philosophy going around it. If you feel like this, you are like that. No. If you feel like this, then 2 days after this, you will feel something else. And then your feelings will change. It's not. This goes much, much deeper. Subjectively, that what you do, you feel around you, whatever you have done is be helpful. So your action, which is unselfish, that's why there's a verse. What is this? Punya and Papa, they say, no? So they're saying, Sarva Shastra Puraneshu. In all the Shastras, scriptures, and the Puranas, or mythology, Vyasasya Vachanam Dhruvam. Vyasa's words are adhruva, like imperishable. Paropakara Punyaya, helping others is punya. Papaya parapidana. If you harm others, it is sin. Bad. So you do that. This will be the yardstick. If you can help others, not harm others by thought, word, and deed, it is.
You wanted to, like, so today morning I was listening to a bhajan, and in that, like, the bhajan says, like, God is your, like, they were describing the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata. Like they said, like Krishna was Arjuna's Sarathi, and Arjuna had to, like, he had to kill his relatives and even go against his guru. So it was kind of like God will guide you, right, to do the right things. That kind of, I don't know.
Now, if you bring God, and then there's a question of morality also. I'm guided by God, so that's a different thing. But there's another argument I want you to bring. And where do we get the moral sense? It's a very ancient sense, very ancient. When we were, for millions of years, we have been evolving. And we were mainly hunter-gatherers. And hunters and gatherers. Sometimes we used to hunt, and we never know whether that food that we eat is good or bad. And you know what we developed? Smell. You take any food, you go to a big Michelin, 5-star Michelin also. It's a very ancient. We used to smell food. If that food is rotten or no, we know that is going to harm me. That which is rotten or which is bad is wrong. It's bad. And which is nice, sweet smelling. And even then, that also some sweet smelling cyanides and all are there. Cyanide also is sweet smelling. But yeah, but in those days it wasn't there.
That's like almond.
What's that?
Smells like almond.
Almond. Yeah. Okay, all right.
Take your word for it.
It is no. What he said, no. What he said is actually it's bad. But so they tried it and they found, hey, don't. So we have that very ancient sense of trying to protect us by smell, by looking, smelling, and then that instinct developed slowly and slowly. So it is part of us. That's why they say the nose is an extension of the brain only. All the nerves go straight to the brain. Yeah. This idea of good and bad came there first. This is good, this is bad. It started with food. And then, hey, what you said was not good. What you said was good. So slowly and slowly evolved, and that's how it became the moral sense. Yes. So it's a very old. So we know what exactly. Somebody else does not have to tell me, oh, you did something good. I know. If what is good for you, and what is good for others, that is morality.
But like he was saying, Arjuna got very confused, right? Because he was thinking doing the battle of Kurukshetra was immoral and killing his relatives and Kuru.
That was from his weakness, right?
Yeah.
That is
Right,
a
but
different
same
morality.
way, right?
Well, I think my understanding from what Maharaj is saying is like, it's like, what makes you stronger? And you can't use morality as an excuse, right?
All those arguments which he has given, Arjuna has given, are good arguments. But from a higher standpoint, all these things are. So now this place is there. It looks, if you go higher up, it will look even more beautiful. So if you look from here, you're looking down and you're seeing all that. This view is different from when you are actually there in those places. Suppose you are in downtown there. It's a different thing. But you're looking from top, oh, it's a different view. So Krishna gives a higher, loftier view, seeing the same thing from a different angle. And those things that you're talking about does not make any sense. They're relatively true, yes, but for the greater good. Suppose the Kauravas would have won, then we would not be here. Already they showed their colors all through, with all the nonsense they made. So they had to, at times, like a surgeon, that surgeon, you'll have to cut. Oh no, this is the himsa. This is very himsa. This is no. This is not himsa. You will say this is himsa. I cannot cut. That fellow will not be saved.
So the people who were fighting on the Kaurava side, like Vishwa, Drona, were they doing dharma or?
That is where, no, you see the Mahabharata, they show one character like Bhishma, such a grand, and yet they show his other side, his weak side, his weaknesses. Dronacharya, his weakness. Even Yudhishthira, his weakness. Arjuna, a strong side, weak side. Every side. Not only that, they show both the sides in different settings. In the times of peace, in the times of conflict, in the times of crisis, in the times, both the sides. That is why there is no other book can ever be like the Mahabharata and even the Ramayana. Even Rama's weaknesses are shown. Even Sita's weaknesses are shown. They are not like, oh, everything with a nice only keep. No. And in different settings. That is what makes the whole thing so.
And why is Rama considered as God?
Huh?
It is not, right?
Oh, Rama was the incarnation.
Right, but what makes him different than Sejit?
Oh, the plenty. Big plenty. So, you cannot compare a jiva with the incarnation, avatar. Though Yudhishthira was, as they say, he was the son of Dharma. But God, the incarnation is an aspect, is directly God himself. You cannot, that's why I tell people, you have come to Sri Ramakrishna, you better stay here. Okay. But he is an incarnation. Don't go to some jiva. The jiva is whatever the jiva is. So that is like Sri Ramakrishna says, the light of an ordinary soul is like a very faint lamp. The light of the incarnation is like the sun. That's a big difference. So you can see Rama will be Rama. So the human qualities at that height, yes, they have been displayed. But in the incarnation, what happens is the divine qualities are expressed to the human qualities. So it's not an excellence of human qualities. It is a display of divine qualities in an incarnation. Yeah, it's a big difference. So Swamiji gives an example of a clay mouse and a clay elephant. As clay, they are one. Yudhishthira and Rama as clay. But a clay mouse cannot be a clay elephant. As clay, they are one. Everything is okay. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna